taxes.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right, we'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I hope everyone's, doing well today. And a little background about myself is I'm Kevin. I am a third year studying business administration with a minor in data science. And we are part of FinEd, which I will get to in a second. But I don't know if Jolie wants to introduce herself.
Oh, okay. My name is Jolie, and I am actually a CBHS alumni. I graduated in 2021, and I'm at Berkeley right now studying media studies.
Awesome.
Are you able to see our slides? Yeah, okay, slide.
Perfect. Yeah, so today we'll be going over saving in college, how to navigate college, and just one of our favorites is budgeting. So we'll go over that and how to budget and how to save for college. And really, once in your college, how can you take advantage of things like work study and how to budget. Um, and so we kind of introduced ourselves. Unfortunately, Andrea couldn't make it today, but she did contribute in helping us set up our slides. And she's our director of the high school outreach program, which is this program that we're here all for you today. And I'm Kevin. I'm the VP of Professional Development. And then Jolie, she is our educator. So I'm really grateful for having this awesome, amazing team. And I hope you guys, take something away from this presentation. So a little bit about FinEd. We are a financial literacy organization at UC Berkeley. We were founded a couple semesters ago. We're pretty young still, but our overall goal is to really enhance financial literacy within UC Berkeley, and then also just going beyond and enhancing the financial literacy in high schools and on young students. Just because I know when I was in high school, I didn't get exposed to these types of financial literacy topics, and it really comes a long way being exposed to these topics once you're in college or even in high school, because it gives you a head start and really allows you to have financial freedom and hopefully build up generational wealth. So today what we'll be covering is the different types of financial aid, paying off student loans, saving, budgeting, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end.
Okay, so for financial aid, essentially this is the money that helps you pay for college. And so often what financial aid covers is tuition, fees, housing, food, books, supplies, transportation that you're going to be using in college. And like financial aid can come in many different forms, such as grants, loans, scholarships, work study, and we'll get into a few of those in a second with like the other slides. Two of the slides, or one of the slides we did not cover are grants, and so that's just money that like schools or organizations they'll give to you just and you don't have to pay it back. It's kind of like a loan, but you don't have to pay it back, which is really great. And so I don't know if Kevin wants to add anything on about grants, but
Right. So grants are basically free money. I'm sure you guys have heard of grants before. And if you guys haven't, I'm more than happy to answer any questions on that. But really, it's free money for you to use for your education, to pay tuition, fees, housing, and also to just if you have any left over, you could also use that, to support yourself. In college, a lot of little expenses incur in college, such as, eating out, different little things. So I really encourage you all. I'm sure you guys all know about FAFSA, so that's how you really get these grants. But you could also, like, I know you guys are probably looking into what colleges to go to, or really looking at your guys' financial aid package. So it's really important, if you guys have any questions, to reach out to your to the college that you're interested in, just because each college has different award packages, different grants, and sometimes it's completely different from one school to another. So I really encourage you all to really reach out for help. I know that the financial aid office at whatever institution you guys are looking at are more than happy to help you guys out. But really, grants is free money, and financial aid in general is free money for the exception of loans, which we'll get into in a bit.
So yeah, so one of the financial aid things that I mentioned are scholarships. And so I'm pretty sure, I hope that you guys have heard about it. I hope Ms. Zuckerberg has talked about it in the College and Career Center, but in case she hasn't, this is kind of the steps of like scholarship finding. So oftentimes scholarships, they can be awarded through your school. Like I have received like the middle class scholarship here at Berkeley, and that was just awarded to me. But a lot of scholarships you'll actually have to go and find yourself. And so um I know that CVHS does offer like a lot of scholarships at the end of the year for seniors, but just in case, there's also like other websites such as FastWeb, Scholarly, and Bold.org, and there's just also other community organizations in schools. If you need help with finding scholarships, you can either ask us at the Q&A, or you can even ask Ms. Dr. Brow. I'm sure she has a lot of resources for you here. And there's a lot of times there's essay components, and so it's really great if you can write an essay that shows off yourself and your own story. So if you follow like the FAIL method, which is situation, action, impact, and learning, this applies, that kind of applies for like interviews as well. But uh, like essentially the essay is to learn about yourself and showing off yourself the best you can in the situation, in the situations that you have. So really like try to tell your story in the essays and give off like um the best kind of compelling content that you can. And if you want to have someone review your essay, that's also really great. Um, and so there's also like the application process, which is sometimes it involves letters of recommendation, showing your involvement, like kind of like a resume or um, things like that, or even transcripts.
Right. I just want to add on, if you guys need letters of recommendations, just be sure to ask your teacher or your recommender 3 weeks in advance, just because it gives them time to really write a thorough recommendation. And also don't ask maybe like 2 months in advance, just because that happened to me. I asked my teacher way too in advance, and then the week, like 2 weeks before it was due, I reminded them, and they were very confused. So just, be aware of that. And kind of going back to like the sale method, it's really just for you to tell your situation, what you've done, and then how did that impact you, and how did you impact others, and what did you learn from it? And it's just kind of a good method for you guys to be able to tell your story and really be compelling, which is what the the readers are looking for. And also there's a lot of local scholarships. I know I got a lot of local scholarships, how Jolie mentioned as well. The school, I'm sure, has a lot of scholarships at the end of the year, so really take advantage of those, just because it's really the competition's not as big as if you apply to this big scholarship that's nationally, right? So really take advantage of those opportunities.
Um, and so another form of financial aid that you can receive in college is work study. And so essentially work study is student opportunity part-time employment opportunities for students that are based on qualifying like need. And so like work study can come in like many different forms. At our school, it's mainly working through the school and school affiliated businesses, and um you can get paid minimum wage or higher. I know most of my friends, they're getting paid higher than the minimum wage in Berkeley for work study. And work study jobs are often quite flexible. Um More so, I think they're even more flexible than if I got a job outside of school, but it really helps going towards paying for your college fund. And like I think it won't contribute to your what is that called? The Kevin, do you know what that's called? Like I think it's like your income like rate, like when you like for FAFSA, it doesn't count towards your income. Is that correct?
um right, I think you're talking about the EFC, the expected contribution.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember, yeah, the same thing for CalFresh. If you work through work study, it doesn't get reported as income either. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I
So there's
don't,
a
I
lot
don't.
of, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you're not taxed like on your paycheck at the end of the, how like every month you get like deductions you get to keep it. I know that because I had a question and I asked my supervisor. I'm also doing work study, by the way. And they told me that since I'm in work study, they don't deduct any taxes. So it's really beneficial, really like you really benefit because like how Jolie said, they're very flexible and it's a great opportunity for you to get also working experience. But yeah.
Yeah, I would really recommend doing work study. I'm actually going to my work study job after this presentation. So if you have any questions about this, like let us know too.
Okay, so now we're gonna drift a little bit onto student loans and student debt. So a question I have for you, and I'm not sure if you guys are able to maybe unmute, but if not, it's totally fine, is why is paying off student loan debt quickly and important? So that's okay if you guys are not able to unmute, but really the reason is you guys do not want to be like this person right here, right? I graduated undergrad with $38,000 in loans. To date, I've paid $20,000 and my balance is $37,000. And how did this happen? Well, this happened because of interest rates, right? And so you guys are young yet still, you guys have not taken out any student loans. So really, I want you guys all to really take into consideration when you guys take out a loan, why you guys are taking out the loan, and just being smart and having a plan to pay it off fast. I'm not saying that student loans are bad. I'm just saying be aware that student loans can get very, very expensive. So it's important to have a plan on how to pay off these loans. So I'm sure you guys have maybe heard of this, but there's three types of student loans, right? And a student loan is a sum of money that is borrowed and is expected to be paid off in a specific period, and it's for educational purposes, right? So the three types of student loans are subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans, and then private loans. And so subsidized is available to undergrads and it's based on financial need. The interest does not occur until you leave the school. So I believe you have 6 months after you graduate to start paying your loans. And then the government pays interest while you're enrolled in college. So if you guys apply to the FAFSA and you guys qualify for financial need, you guys will get options to take out subsidized loans. And so overall, at the end of whenever you're done paying the loan, you'll have a lower loan balance as well. And so for an unsubsidized loan, it's available for both undergrads and graduates, and it's not based on financial need. The interest does accrue while you're in college, and then that means the government does not help with any interest. So that means you have a higher loan limit, and that means typically you'll be ending up probably like this person that has a big balance. So really take that into consideration when you're looking into student loans. And so in case you guys do get any student loans, there is different plans on how to pay them off. I know this is probably like 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years ahead from when you guys may start paying any student loans off. But I think it's kind of important to take into consideration that in case you guys do get student loans, there are plans and ways to be able to pay these loans off, right? So there's a standard plan that's a 10-year plan, and then those are for people who want to pay off their loans fast with the least amount of interest. So that means at the end of the 10 years, they would have paid a much smaller balance as well, just because they paid it off faster and the interest did not grow, right? I'm not sure if you guys have heard of compound interest, but the balance will grow over time if you do not pay it off. And so that brings me on to the extended plan, which is a 25-year program. And it's a longer term and you have lower payments, but at the end of the loan, you would have paid much more. So this is a type of program that's not really recommended, just because by the end of 25 years, you would have paid much more than what you should have paid, right? And then there is the graduated plan. And so that's a 10-year plan as well. Payments start low and then increase every 2 years. And then this is for people who think that their income will grow over time. So coming out of college, you might not have the greatest income, but over time, you might have more income coming in just because you get promotions and things of that nature. So you might want to start paying off more after. And so then that's a way to be able to pay off in 10 years. And then there's an income driven plan. It's forgiven after 20 to 25 years, and then payments rise and fall with income. And it's better for low income individuals. But if I'm being honest with you all, I think the plan that is probably works best for most and is probably the smartest plan would be the standard plan or the graduated plan. This is not financial advice, but just kind of to just put into perspective of how much you'll pay at the end of 25 years compared to 10 years. It's significantly less what you'll be paying in 10 years than compared to 25 years. And so we'll kind of get into ways to ensure that you're able to pay off these student loans. Alternatives and remedies for student loans and paying off student loans is financial aid, which we mentioned, which is free money, right? And then also personal financing and budgeting and saving, which is a really important skill that a lot of people should have. Adults nowadays don't really have that skill, and it's really important to have. And if you're able to have this skill of budgeting and saving while in college, trust me, it'll go a long way, and you'll set yourself up for success in the future. So that'll bring us into budgeting and saving. By the way, is there any questions at the moment that we could maybe answer? I know that I kind of went over a lot right now, but if there's any questions in the room that we can answer, I'd be more than happy.
Yes, there are questions. A student is coming over.
Hi, I'm coming over. Okay, I had a question about the work study. What kind of job, like, do you guys work for the work study, or like, what kind of, yeah,
Right.
like, what do you
Yeah.
do?
So what I do is I work for computer technology services. So basically, if the instructor, professor, or anybody that is running a class needs any assistance with any tech, I basically go troubleshoot any issues. If I have to replace a cable, I replace a cable. If I need to, I don't know, reset a system, I reset the system. Honestly, it is very laid back. I know it sounds a little like kind of hard, like having to deal with a lot of tech, but it's not that bad. Just because there's not a lot of calls that we get often, and when we do, it's really easy, and you're trained. That's one of the things about work study. They make sure you're trained, and they're really flexible. Like last week, I was really busy, so I didn't work at all, and they were totally fine with that. This week I'm working 10 hours and they're totally fine with that. So they're really flexible. I know it does vary by department, some might be more than others, but it's really important to kind of really ask any questions about the job that you may have. Jolie, I don't know if you want to talk about your experience with work study.
Oh yeah, sure. So my job is that I'm a PPE assistant, and so essentially I'm managing the PPE for the school. So um previously I managed like distributing face masks for everyone in the school, like all the staff members, all the facility members, and right now I'm doing lab coat fittings. So any researcher, any staff member, any TA, GSI student who needs a lab coat in the school, they'll have to make an appointment through my department, and I'll be able to help them fit to the right lab coat and also make sure that the inventory is all good. Also doing deliveries for that. But yeah, like Kevin said, like my work study is very flexible. If something happens and I need to take off like the day before or sometimes even the day of, don't totally recommend like asking for the day to not come into your shift the day of all the time. But if you really need to, at least my employer, he's very flexible, and he's been very like understanding of my situation as a college student. Um, Also like Kevin said, like the work time hours, I work currently this semester I've been really busy, so I've only worked 6 hours a week, but I worked in the summer, so I was able to work I think 40 hours a week in the summer. I was able to work full time. So it's definitely like it varies per department. Like I said, some departments aren't as flexible. Like I believe like Cal Dining, if you work for like the dining halls, like the schedule may not be as flexible, or you might need someone to fill in for your shift. But because at least for my job, it's very niche. He didn't really need me to find anyone to fill in. But there's lots of different jobs. Like me and Kevin's are just two examples. But I know a lot of my friends work for the dining halls, they work for the library, like they work as library staff, which is a pretty chill job, I heard. They will some of my friends work for museums on campus, and so and other ones they work as like loop drivers, which are like driving for in case like someone hurt their leg and they need to get around and they need like a vehicle to get around. Since Berkeley's really hilly, my friends will be the ones to drive them around. So yeah, like there's lots of different jobs for lots of different like interests and tasks and availabilities. So it's very, very flexible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I hope that answered the question. So if there's any more questions, we could also answer them on the Q&A. I believe the period ends around 11, so I'll try to leave room for Q&A at the end. So like I mentioned, our next topic will be on budgeting and saving. So why is it important to budget? So it's really for a lot of reasons, but some of the reasons we decided to point out is for stability, goal setting, spending habits, and then for emergencies. Budgeting really creates financial stability and guides you to financial freedom. That's because you're able to allocate and know where exactly your money is going month to month. And it really allows you to see, maybe I'm overspending on food this month, I need to cut back on food. Or maybe I'm overspending on entertainment, I need to cut back on that. And so that really allows you to be disciplined as well. Another reason is goal setting. I'm sure you guys all have amazing goals. We all have goals in life, right? And so understanding what your long-term goal is really important, and budgeting will help you achieve those long-term goals. Unfortunately, some of the goals you want, like maybe I know one of my goals is to go travel to Europe for a whole month, right? Unfortunately, that won't be possible if I do not have the budget to be able to do so, right? And so you need to start early to really budget and start allocating, for that big trip you want to take. So that's why it's really important. And then another one is spending habits, which I kind of touched upon already. And so it really ensures that you do not overspend. I know that I have bad habits of overspending. I know a lot of people have bad habits of overspending. It's really easy to overspend, especially now with credit cards, and you have like Apple Pay, and it's just super easy to make payments, right? The good news is that budgeting will help you stay disciplined and will help you avoid these bad habits. And then, unfortunately, emergencies do happen. And so having a budget ready and allocating an emergency fund within your budget will allow you to be prepared for any unforeseen emergencies. And so there's 3 types of budgets. The only one we'll get into is a 50-30-20 starter budget, just because that's the one that makes more sense for college students and really for in general. But there's other 2 types of budgeting. It's called zero-based budgeting, and then budgeting with variable income. And so really the 50-30-20 budget is 50% goes for needs, 30% goes for wants, and then 20% is for saving. So really 50% is things like your rent, food, utilities, anything that is crucial in order for you to survive, really. And then 30% is wants. So it's really important to distinguish between a need and a want. Sometimes people will think that shopping is a need when really it is not. So it's really important to really distinguish between the needs and wants, and it's important to really be able to also give yourself, going out and eating out. It's important not just to put all your money in your needs or savings. It's also important to enjoy your money, enjoy life, right? And then the other 20% would be savings. So that would be either investing, saving it in a bank, saving in a retirement account. Those are things that we won't get into today, but those are things that you could put your money into in order for you to grow your money and also save your money in case of any emergencies, or like how I mentioned, if you want to go on that trip at the end of your senior year or at the end of college, you'll have that money to be able to go on that trip or do whatever you want, right?
Oh, I just wanted to preface that, like, even though the things that we're talking about they pertain to like college and university life. Like I'm sure for most of you, you don't need to budget your rent right now, right? Or budget your groceries because probably you live with your parents or you live with someone for the most part who can handle that. But um I think it's still really important to at least like help start budgeting your wants, like eating out and shopping. Um I didn't really do that in high school, and so now in college it's a lot harder to start learning how to budget, but so it's never too early to start learning how to budget. Just trying to be more mindful of your purchases is a great way to also start budgeting. Like just as long as you're aware about where your money is going, even if you're not really spending that much, like just being aware of where your money is going is like a great place to start as well. Like um yeah. So I know like when I was in high school, I would like just buy like boba or like Starbucks without thinking about it. But then um like at the end, like uh I think it's really helpful to at least start being mindful of where you buy your items. So
Right. And Andrea was able to join us. So I don't know, Andrea, if you want to introduce yourself, and maybe talk about the 21 90 day.
Yeah, I'm
rule.
happy to share. So my name is Andrea, and I am the director of the high school outreach program. I'm a business major as well as Kevin. So the 2190 rule. The 2190 rule is basically it takes 21 days to form any kind of habit that you want to implement into your life. And I hope the habit that we're inspiring you all to implement is budgeting and just being a little bit more responsible with your personal finance. So yes, as mentioned, it takes 21 days to form a habit, but in order to make it a permanent lifestyle, you would have to implement it into your daily routine for at least 90 days. And this goes for anything that you want to see any transformation within your life.
Right. And all these topics we're going over is really to help you guys really navigate college, be able to, enjoy your college experience because, money's a big part of college. When you're in college, you don't have your parents to be able to, give you that allowance that maybe you had in high school or college is really expensive in general. So it's really important to be able to have these skills, develop these skills. And I hope that you guys do implement them. And so why is saving important? Well, like I mentioned, it protects you in the event of any financial emergency. So I encourage you all to start an emergency fund. That could be as simple as starting off with $200, setting aside for emergencies. Right now, you guys are in high school, and then when you guys are in college, maybe increasing that to $1,000, right? And so you keep that in a savings account. You don't touch it. You do not put it with your checkings account. You put that separately on your savings account, and you use that for any emergencies. That could be any medical expense, any unforeseen thing that is out of the ordinary. And then saving can also cover large expenses. So during the pandemic, unfortunately, there's a lot of expenses, right? Let's say you have a car repair as well, any medical expenses. Savings can definitely come in handy for that. And so also start a savings account if you don't have one already, like I mentioned, right? It can help you plan for anything 1 to 5 years from now. It can also help you for anything 3+ years from now and building generational wealth. And so savings does not mean just putting your money into a savings account. There's other ways to save, right? Like investments, putting into retirement accounts, putting it into mutual funds, which is similar like to investing. And so there's really a lot of ways that you can save your money, make your money grow, and make the money work for you. Just because money loses value over time, $10 is worth more today than it is going to be a year from now. So it is important to put your money into places where your money will start to grow. And so that's why it is important to save. It will come in handy while you're in college, as well as budgeting, as well as seeking out scholarships, financial aid, and also seeking out opportunities like work study. And I don't know if Jolie or Andrea has anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think one of the only accounts that you didn't mention was a high yield savings account. Those don't give you the best return on your investment, but at least you have your money protected in an account where you'll be getting at least anywhere between 1 to 3% which sometimes accounts for inflation, but at least it's in a safe place. You also want to make sure that in terms of saving, you don't necessarily put it in an account where you could be putting yourself at a lot of risk. So yes, your savings could go into some kind of investment account, but at the same time, let's mitigate that risk by choosing low risk investments, ETFs, S&P 500s, which are usually give you a decent ROI. And at the same time, protect your savings in the case that you do need to pull them out for any kind of emergencies. Like Kevin mentioned, the pandemic, car repairs, medical expenses, job losses. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's basically our presentation. We wanted to reserve extra time at the end for any questions. We went over a lot in kind of like a fast period of time, so we'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Oh, we'll also be sharing these slides with Ms. Sakubra so that you guys have all this information. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. All right. You guys have any questions? Anybody want to ask a question? Yeah, come on up. All right. We got a question. Somebody's coming up. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Tara, and I had a question about like the financial aid that FAFSA gives you. So how do you use the money from like FAFSA to like put it into like college? Because like for example, I got like Cal Grant, but I don't really know what to do with it, and I was wondering if like it would directly like go to the college that you submitted for, or like how do you use it?
Right. So something like grants and financial aid that goes directly to the college, and anything left over they will refund it to you in a check. So you could use that money to spend it on rent, food. Really, I encourage you to spend it on college expenses and not spend it on going out and having fun. I mean, if you have leftover, sure, but really the way it works is the money that you get from scholarships and grants, it goes directly to the school, and then if you don't have any left over, well then they keep it all and that pays your tuition and fees and all that. But if there is any left over, let's say you get $10,000 and the tuition is $8,000, well then that means you get a $2,000 refund check, and then you could use that for other expenses like I mentioned, housing.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and in terms of a Cal Grant, it should go directly to your financial aid account. If you don't see it in there, contact your financial aid department because I also have the Cal Grant, but I for some reason didn't see it in my account this year, so I went to I went to the financial aid office directly at Berkeley, and then they were able to help me sort it out. So it should go directly to your account.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right. Anybody else? Yeah, come on up. Might have to take a little loop around. All right, wedge her out. All right, here we go. Come on around. Go ahead. You're good. Come in and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Audrey. So, if you already finished your financial aid earlier and you just added a new school to the financial aid, what kind of happens? Because I did get financial aid for it. I just don't know like how does work study work and all that other stuff.
So is your question like, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so since I already like submitted my FAFSA, initially I didn't have a specific school there, but then I added it. What would happen like if I wanted like work study and like other stuff? Like, does it still apply or?
I'm not too sure on Andrea.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can answer this question. I believe that even if you submitted your FAFSA, as long as you indicated that you're interested in work study in the FAFSA, it applies to any school that you add later on. So I would just make sure you double check. Right now, you can always edit your FAFSA even if it's already been submitted and processed.
Yeah, that's what I did afterwards.
Perfect. So since you indicated that you want to do work study, which is fantastic, it would honestly be that information would be sent out to all the schools that you put into your FAFSA. So you don't need to worry about updating the new school that you want to go into. Right now, I know that you're going into like the decision-making process, and that school, whichever school that you select, will be informed that you want to do that. For sure.
Right.
Thank you
Did
so
I
much.
answer your question?
Yeah, I was going to add on another thing. Sometimes you may be given student loans and you're able to convert student loans into work study. I know I converted some of my student loan options into work study, or you could convert some of your work study options sometimes into student loans. It's just really contacting with the financial aid department, and they're more than happy to be able to assist you with that.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. Cool. Good question. All right. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, come on up. Introduce yourself. All right. Okay. Hi, I'm Nomeen. So I have two questions. For the financial aid stuff, you said there's a financial aid account. Does all that money automatically go to the school you choose, or do you have to like do something for that money to go to them?
Um, I don't recall actually going on to FAFSA and saying this is a specific school that I want to go to, but I believe that when you select the school and say verify that you're going to officially enroll into that, you're going to accept the admission, then that school's automatically notify the financial aid like FAFSA, and they connect with one another to establish that you're going to go to that institution and receive the funds through them. Does that make sense?
Okay, so all we really have to do is just confirm we're going to this school, and then they just like, okay, that's cool, you're going there. We're gonna give the money to them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just because a lot of the financial aid packages that you're getting already is already based off on what they received from FAFSA and the government. So that's how they generated your award letter. And really it's just accepting the college and accepting the award letter. And then really that the money will, like how I mentioned earlier, will get sent to the school. And if there's any left over, you'll get a refund check sent to you, which you can use for any other expenses.
Okay. And then my second question was, could you guys elaborate more on like saving accounts? Like what type of accounts would you recommend for like high interest and low risk?
Right. Like Andrea mentioned, there's high yield savings accounts, which is really it's a really safe way to put your money. You won't get a big return, but at least your money is growing and it's in a safe spot. A lot of banks have these. I know Chase has it, Wells Fargo has it. Any of the major banks will have a high yield savings account. Also credit unions. Credit unions are really good to look into just because they sometimes give higher interest rates in terms of the high yield savings accounts. There's other ways to really save your money, which is retirement accounts. Once you start working, you'll have, well, which is probably like 4 to 5 years from now, but you'll have the option to open a 401k. It is not too early to start opening an IRA. If you have not heard, it's an investment retirement account. Anyone could open that. And really it's a way to start saving for retirement. So that's something that you start saving long term. It's not really a short term type of investment or saving. And IRAs are typically a safe way to grow your money and have money for retirement. Other ways are ETFs, which is basically like investing in the market, in the stock market. Those are typically safer ways to invest your money. There's also mutual funds, which are also safe, but you'll get typically a lower return. It's just really doing your research. There's a lot of cool ways to really grow your money, save your money, and really prepare yourself for any emergencies, any goals that you want to achieve. So it's really important to start saving as early as possible. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Nomeen.
Ms. Sakura, if you ever want us to come over or if you ever wanted us to do like another talk for investments, we can also do that since we have
Right.
that
Yeah, it's like
content
a
ready
whole
too.
topic, like 1 hour topic in itself. So we'd be more than happy for that.
Absolutely. No, I know that would take a nice chunk of time to just discuss that topic. But thank you so much for answering the questions. Does anybody else have any other questions they want to ask? No? All right. We're quiet. Well, I really appreciate you guys so much being here, and thank you so much for allowing me to record. Let me stop doing that right now.